hell is what she desires.
Flowers in her hair, they captivate my stare. She rapes my mind and leaves me blind, and I don't even care. My mind, it has digressed, I know that I'm obsessed. My mental pain and lack of gain has caused me great distress. The moonlight paints her gray, I don't know what to say. It's homicide as we abide in thus that I create. A secret that she keeps, it haunts me when I sleep. An evil dream, it makes me scream, and when I wake I weep.
I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon. I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon.
I want to be hers tonight, but she loves for a different type. I am an with heavenly fires, but hell is what she desires.
I want to be the man, to help her understand that there's a purpose and a reason and a master plan. I want to be her right, and her angelic light, to touch her face and then embrace and guide her through the night. But it would seem that she just simply doesn't see any appeal or a real reason to love me. She likes her angels evil, those with demonic sigma. She wants to fall in like the pollen wants the flower stigma.
I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon. I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon.
I want to be hers tonight, but she loves for a different type. I am an eight with heavenly fires, but hell is what she desires.
And every day I'm haunted, and every night I'm taunted. What if I change and rearrange into the thing she wanted? So would she love me then, if I fall from heaven, and be the demon that she's screaming that she wants in men? My conscience realizes there are no compromises, cause this is me, I have to be the angel she despises. But still I want to hide, in my mind she'll abide. Morality, carnality, existing side by side.
I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon. I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon.
I want to be hers tonight, but she loves for a different type. I am an eight with heavenly fires, but hell is what she desires.
You could be the demon she desires.
I could never be the demon she desires.
You could be her smoke, brimstone, and fire.
Down to hell, the words of murderers and liars.
You could be the demon she desires.
I could never be the demon she desires.
You could be her smoke, brimstone, and fire.
Down to hell, the words of murderers and liars. I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon. I want to be the one, to be her only one, but I'm an AJ, she wants a demon.
I want to be hers tonight, but she loves for a different type. I am an eight with heavenly fires, but hell is what she desires.
the shadows I remain till I die. In the darkness I
watch you like pornography.
I could venture outside my comfort zone or remain here alone.
It is all the same to me.
In the shadows I remain till I die. In the darkness I
watch you like pornography.
hoping that something will change on its own. I remain here alone.
Borderline insanity.
Girl, you don't know what, but it's you that I want. Watching from the shadows in the view, it's a taunt. Staring at your figure with the body that you flaunt. Like an apparition, your position it will haunt me inside the recesses of my mind. When I close my eyes, I am able to find fulfillment of the superficial kind. Imaginary pantomime. I dream of you in a bed of flowers. I beseech almighty powers. Bless me with holy showers that will transform my minutes to hours. Hologram, damned illusion. Deactivate this intrusion. Focus on this art illusion. Eliminate this protrusion. In the shadows I remain till I die. In the darkness I
watch you like pornography.
I could venture outside my comfort zone or remain here alone.
It is all the same to me.
In the shadows I remain till I die. In the darkness I
watch you like pornography.
hoping that something will change on its own. I remain here alone.
Borderline insanity.
Girl, I'm about to move in for a kiss. Never mind, I guess that was just a wish. Why, oh why am I acting like this? Am I just afraid of being dismissed? Pale as a corpse, I get no sun. Hiding in the shadows is really not that fun. And the transforming has already begun. From a carbon-based life form to a ghostly one.
I beg you come to me, I beg you rescue me. A painted clown I shall be, out of your necessity.
Yes, my lust is so controlling. In the shadows I am rolling, wishing that we were strolling in La Hot past consoling. In the shadows I remain till I die. In the darkness I
watch you like pornography.
I could venture outside my comfort zone or remain here alone.
It is all the same to me.
In the shadows I remain till I die. In the darkness I
watch you like pornography.
hoping that something will change on its own. I remain here alone.
Borderline insanity.
What's up, guys? Rayne Badger here with you. It is Friday night. You know what that means. We're partying, right? It's our MSG broadcast brought to you by our Underground Radio Systems, Renegade Studios, sponsored also by Midnight Storm Gaming. Tonight, I actually have a very special guest with me, and I'm very excited about this because I'm a huge fan of this guy, and definitely one of the best kept secrets in the underground, and especially in our local area. We're lucky to have him in our local area. It is Lunatic Librarian. How are you doing, Lunatic Librarian?
Oh, I'm doing excellent, Rayne. I'm honored to be on the show tonight.
Oh, I'm honored to actually have you. I mean, it's crazy. As long as I've actually been in radio, I've never actually gotten the opportunity to get you on the air with me. So I know we've been working together, here and there with some things, and we're kind of affiliated now because you and Bloodstained. So it's definitely, I'm really glad to have you on the show tonight. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna grill Lunatic Librarian, guys, and we're gonna find out all kinds of things about him. Sound good?
Sounds great. Don't hurt my feelings.
Oh, I wouldn't hurt your feelings. Come on. Like I said, big fan of Lunatic Librarian, so I'm definitely happy to have him on here. And so I guess I'll just jump right in if you're comfortable with that, and we'll just start asking you questions.
Totally.
All right. So, the obvious, first question, that I have for everybody is, how long have you actually been making music?
really interested in that question. I've been recording music for about 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduated high school, I received as a graduation present a Mac laptop, and it had GarageBand on it. And I'm like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever. And I started teaching myself how to produce my own music. And so even though I've been recording and producing music for 8 years, I've been writing and playing music for much longer than that.
Oh, wow.
When I was in middle school.
Middle school?
When I was in middle school, yes, I started taking piano lessons in middle school. At the time being, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really like them, but I'm so glad my mom made me take them.
So is that what kind of inspired you, I guess, to the piano lessons? I mean, that's, where I hear actually a lot of people start, so that's where you got your start. And you said, when was it you started actually recording music?
About 8 years ago.
8 years ago. So it's been a while. Wow. So
it certainly has, and I've evolved a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I would imagine that going from middle school to now would be a huge transition, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, tell us about, obviously we've got some listeners tonight that, may not have heard of you, and we've got your fans also listening, so we've got, two different groups, and so, I mean, in general, could you tell us, about your music in general, and what would you actually say to someone that is checking you out or hearing you for the first time? I mean, obviously, I should preface that with saying that the previous two songs were Lunatic Librarian, who we're talking to now, so then I'll, like I said, I'll let you answer, that question. What would you say to someone that, just heard you, about your music?
Oh, I would tell them, it's really two sides to the creative process for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lyricist and a musician. I consider them both equal. I mean, before I even write the lyrics, every song I play, I write it on the piano and then record it with synthesizers.
Oh, wow.
And, that's always the first step for me. That before I even write a single lyric, I'll just have a song idea in my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll write the music out for it. Once the music's recorded, then I'll dive into the lyrics. So I think I'm kind of unique in that regard, in the fact that I'll place the music as on just as high of a level as the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. So it's just actually as important to you that the music is on point as the lyrics, so it all has to go together.
Absolutely, and because of that, it kind of gives me a slight disadvantage in certain regards. Like, for example, a lot of times people want me to perform like on a cipher track with them, and it'll just be over a simple drum beat,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great drum beat, but I need to be moved by the music and the musical notes in order to write good lyrics.
Yeah, so a simple drum beat is not really moving you emotionally speaking.
It's really not, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're just sitting there like, drums. What am I doing? Am I in an Indian circle here? Am I, I mean, I guess you could pretend, I mean.
Right.
But so it's really a whole process.
Certainly is, and that's why I make my own instrumentals. I mean, I use software synthesizers and hardware synthesizers in making my instrumentals, and it's just as important to me as the lyrics are, honestly.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, basically, when we actually hear your music, so you basically made, the whole musical deal. I mean, the whole thing is 100% you.
Absolutely, and another thing, a lot of people make instrumentals. Mine are 100% sample-free, 100% pre-recorded loop-free. It's all me playing it by hand, my own original compositions, these instrumentals I create, so.
Oh, wow. So it's basically, I mean, it's a whole creation. I mean, it's not just, you're not just a rapper, you're not just, I mean, I know, no offense and no disrespect to just people who are rappers, obviously. I deal with a lot of them, but, they pick out beats and, they pick out someone else's beat, but this is all you. That's really impressive.
Right. And I must say, thank you so much, and I must say, the songs you played in my last couple songs, they're actually, it's kind of funny because even though they're kind of fan favorites, they're actually a couple of my least favorites.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So actually, even though, like, fans probably, obviously, like me, we want to see it, live, of course, I believe I've seen both of them live, and, so, I'm not like, oh, gosh, you got to do it every time, but,
I do it every time, though, just You know, I gotta keep the fans happy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of get, cornered in that, point where you're like, okay, but I want to do this one because I think this is better. And then they're like, but we want the demon she desires and watch you like pornography.
Right, and the truth is, I don't want my art to be pure, in the spoken word poetry circle, they use the term wankery, meaning art that you make just for yourself and you don't care about your listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be that way with my art, so if there are songs I make that touch people and people really feel them, I want to perform them even if I don't particularly like them. I don't want it to be all about me. I want it to be about the listener and the audience just as much. So.
Yeah, so they're your least favorite, but obviously, since they're fan favorites, they've obviously got to have a little bit of a place in your heart. Am I right?
They really do. I'm not gonna lie. They're both very emotional pieces for me, actually.
So they're emotional. Were they like tied to negative emotions? Is that why it's not really your favorite?
Pretty much, yes. They're very sad pieces for me. They were both written when I was feeling very sad, very depressed.
I can tell. They're quite, the lyrics, obviously I can tell are quite dark. So, and of course, the fans, I guess, in this underground, they latch on a little bit to darker things sometimes.
Absolutely.
So, because it's just the way it is, I latch on to darker stuff I'll admit it, just so much easier. Because I'm like, oh yeah, I've been in that, situation. I know the song that Dr. Thaddeus Orr actually did. Sorry to jump right there, but I know Disappear Forever did that with Bloodstained, and that's one of my favorites, and I play that like on my show like all the time. But that's a dark one too.
It really is. It was interesting. Once they actually hit me up, saying, watch on this track, but I'm going to do something kind of unique. I'm going to send you the instrumental and let you decide the concept of the song and see if it's something we can both relate to. And I was like, wow, I've never collaborated with an artist in that way. We both came up with that idea of just the sad song about lost love and, the impact that can have upon someone's psyche.
Mm-hmm.
The terrible impact they can have.
Yeah, you really literally can want to actually disappear forever. I think everybody has went through a relationship, or even not a relationship, but a situation of, wanting someone and then it just not working out. As relationships oftentimes do. So, yeah, the dark stuff, obviously, like I said, fans kind of, I guess, latch on to it. So I guess it's, it's a good thing, but it's also, I guess it would be a difficult thing because when you're wanting kind of to show the world, you're like, but this one is so much better and I like doing this one so much more,
Right.
Oh gosh. Well, speaking in general, we're talking about, dark and things like that. What genre, do you actually consider yourself, or do you feel like you're creating a new genre?
No, I'm going to be honest. I feel like I am creating a new genre in a way because there's three very distinct elements to my music that separates it from typical hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
First of which is song choruses. I sing every chorus of mine. I never rap on choruses.
Yeah.
Hooks, in other words. Second of all, the fact that I make my own instrumentals, and they're very dark, moody, synthesizer-based instrumentals. I use very little, if any, traditional instrumentation in my instrumentals. No guitar, no live drums, things of that nature.
Yeah, so it's very... It's very complicated, and it's very... I remember, actually, when I saw you the first time, I had not heard you. And I saw you live the first time that I ever did, and I was like, wow, this dude is very, very different. And I'm like, I'm not sure where he fits here, but I know he fits. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's so different that it's so, and I believe, I'm not sure if it was I know it was either Low Key or Children of the Grave. I'm not sure which it was where I first saw you, but I know that I was just like, this guy is so different than everybody else, and you really do stand out. And it's really it's in a good way, though. You really get people's attention.
So yes, I So I really do try to stand out in that regard. And, honestly, it's kind of funny. People tell me, is Lunatic Librarian, is it all a marketing thing? Are you trying to be different just so people notice you? And honestly, no.
No, that's just who you are. I mean, that's just who.
Right.
Yeah, so you didn't.
It's not a conscious effort.
Yeah, it wasn't a conscious effort, I guess you're saying, in the initial, but now, I mean, obviously you're not, like you said, you're kind of creating your own thing because, honestly, I wouldn't put you in horrorcore, I wouldn't put you in hip-hop, I just put you kind of in a different place, but you also fit in those realms in the same time. So it's crazy, but I think it's actually a good thing for you because I think you really, really do stand out.
Thank you. And when I tried to fit into a genre, I'm not gonna lie, there was a time, a couple of years ago, I told myself I'm just gonna make a straight horrorcore record.
Oh wow! I bet that did not go well for you. I'm just gonna say I bet it didn't because you are so different.
It went terrible. In fact, I took it down offline. My homie Darkside, I think he still has one of the original copies.
Oh, I'm going to hit him up for that. I'm going to hit him up. I am. But I'll never play it on the radio. I promise.
Thank you, right? But like I said, whenever I try to fit in, I find my face, I'm just going to be myself, and that's when my best art is created.
Yeah, exactly. And, the best artists, they are themselves, and they don't strive to be anyone else. They strive to, just be who they are. And, like you said, people say to you, oh, Lunatic Librarian, you're just trying to stand out. But, that's not what I took from it. What I, took from it, the initial time I saw you is, wow, this guy's really just doing him and doing, what he wants to do. And it's, like I said, it reached out to me because I was looking you up the next day. So... And I imagine a lot of people do that, because, it's just so, obviously, the Lunatic Librarian, persona, character, I don't know what you would want to call it, I feel like it, it grabs attention just because it is different, but also, like I said, and like you said, you create everything, and everything is so different, and it just, like I said, you fit even though you're different. It's strange. It's like you're not trying to fit, but you do, because you're not. Because you're not, right? Total oxymoron, right? Awesome. I know you've got the Library Art LLC and you've got Heretic Historians Foundation going on. And what in general is the plan for those ventures? What's going on with that?
Yeah, we'll start differentiating the two, letting people know. Because I know some people have been confused, they're like, well, is your label Library Art or is it Heretic Historians Foundation? Well, the Library Art in itself isn't exactly a label. It's more of a collective, an umbrella that covers several other labels.
Which, Loose Cannon, EBP, I know, and so Heretic Historians Foundation, is that the actual label that you're under?
Absolutely. That was the Heretic Historians Foundation. That's what I used to brand all my really highly poetic artistic creations. That includes Lunatic Librarian as well as my other two characters, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. The Heretic Historians Foundation, it's kind of unique because it's more than just a label. Mm-hmm. Every release I'm putting out through HHF, they'll tell the story that fits into the same fictional universe. It's kind of like Star Wars in a way. Like every release I put out adds a little bit more to the HHF universe, and if people listen closely to HHF releases, they can hear similar themes, similar characters and events happen throughout all these releases.
So they're all connected in a way. Am I right? They're all, kind of connected?
Absolutely. And I'm actually working on a website right now for HHF, Heretic Historians Foundation, that's going to be sort of like the quote-unquote Bible for HHF. It's going to document, all the main characters in the HHF universe and all the main events and occurrences. So it's going to be really cool.
Okay, so, and I know, like I said, I'm jumping around, and you're actually, you're several different artists, and, Lunatic Librarian, Dr. Thaddeus Orr, and Puppet Box, and, like you said, they're all in the same universe, so I mean, they're all, I've just got to ask, they're all tied together. Is there ever going to be a point where they actually, like, meet?
There totally will be.
Oh, wow.
And, yes, I'm actually working with a couple of videographers right now. I'm really hoping to create some, not necessarily musical scenes, but live-action scenes, displaying the interaction between these characters. It's going to be really cool.
Oh, cool. It does. It actually sounds really cool because it would...
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the interaction, I mean, like, are they... I guess they would be impacting each other in some manner?
They totally do. Like, they're you know, the three characters, Lunatic Librarian, Dr. Daddy Slow, and Puppet Box, you know, they both live totally separate lives, but they paths cross at certain points because they each have a similar goal, similar things to do, so the paths are totally going to cross. You'll see a lot more of that in the upcoming Puppet Box album. You know, Lunatic Librarian, Dr. Daddy Slow will both play a key role in that, so it's going to be really cool.
Oh, awesome. I mean, that just really... I mean, I'm actually really, like, fascinated by that. Yeah, totally fascinated. So I imagine that other people will be as well. And, you know, speaking on your, you know, personas, I don't mean to be offensive, but I'm calling them personas and you would like me to call them something else. I mean, artist personas. I'm not sure. What do you refer to them as?
I literally do refer to them as personas because, honestly, I feel like, you know, deep down, they're all me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, they're just different
different
aspects of you, kind of.
Exactly.
Cool.
I can go into that if you wanted me to.
Well, I mean, what prompted you, I mean, to have so many different personas? I mean, was there, you know, a branch-off point or a point where you were just like, okay, I'm not one, I'm all these, and, I mean, are there going to be more, or have you decided that?
Yeah, well, I'll explain. So, you know, initially, Lunatic Librarian is very heavily based on my personal life experiences. It's a very heavy character for me. It weighs heavily upon my spirit when I write Lunatic Librarian songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, you know, dark and sad things that have occurred to me in my life. And that's the point where, you know, it's becoming very, I wasn't enjoying writing for Lunatic Librarian as much as I used to because it's just, the way I've written it weighs heavily upon my spirit, writing from that perspective. It's all about, you know, things that make me sad, things that make me angry, etc.
Yeah.
So I told myself, you know, if I can go two routes here, I can try to make a more Lunatic Librarian album, focusing on more, you know, positive things, more happy things.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I could have, but then I'm like, well, I can't really do that because it really wouldn't be coming from my heart because I hate to sound, you know, like a dark, you know, cynical person, but you know, I do have a lot of negative emotions I deal with, and I felt like if I tried to force a happy record, it would.
Well, yeah, I think if you force anything, it just doesn't, I mean, you just gotta, I guess, let it flow. I mean, one of my good friends, he says all the time, he says, be like water. And, I mean, it really is kind of like that. You really gotta flow and, you know, kind of let yourself go, you know, where you're going to go, so to speak. And, I mean, if you force it, I guess it's just not going to be as good as if you just let it be. And, so, I mean...
Absolutely, and I have proof of that, for sure.
that horrorcore, I'm seriously, yeah, I'm gonna get...
I'll send you the MP3s later.
Awesome, yes, because I have to, I may not be a fan, because I am not strictly a horrorcore fan, so, and again, you're already telling me it's not exactly what you were aiming for, so I may not.
I mean, I went out of my way to be gratuitous on that record, and I mean, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? That's not me at all. So.
Yeah, I can imagine it's pretty, but I definitely am just you know, as you know, I'm fascinated by your work, so I've got to check that out. I've got to hear it, you know.
I'll get it too, I promise.
But like I said, it won't make it to the radio. I will put it strictly in another folder where it will never make it to the radio.
Never to reach human ears other than your own ears.
Oh, because, you know what, it would be your luck, you know, and it's everybody's luck. Like, somebody would, like, latch onto that and, like, request it every show I did, and I would be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, man, you know? Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, you know, speaking, you know, I know we spoke about, all your different personas, and, in terms of, like, because you are so versatile, I'm really interested in this. Who are your actual musical inspirations? I mean, who inspired you, musically speaking?
So basically, when it comes to my musical inspirations, I see it's kind of like a journey.
A journey, a progression.
Yeah, just not the band journey, just a journey.
Yeah.
You see, as I, grew up and grew older, my musical tastes changed. But every time my musical tastes changed, I brought with me a little bit of the previous music I listened to. And, so every band I ever listened to, as my tastes changed, influenced me as a musician myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I first started, when I was a kid, I listened to a lot of what my parents listened to, which was not rap at all.
What did they listen to?
They listen to classic rock, they listen to classical, they made me listen to a lot of classical music, Mozart, Beethoven, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I must admit, it influenced me, no doubt, because, it piqued my interest in, the theory side, intricate, theoretical side of music. And that really, inspired me to create more intricate works.
Yeah,
as I got older,
that actually makes sense, though, because, as intricate as you are and as much as you're focusing, as much on the music as the lyrics and as the, it really makes sense that you would have had a classical influence like that.
Right. And then as I got a little older, my parents really didn't let me listen to hip-hop at all.
What parents really want, seriously, what parents really want their children listening to hip-hop? It's like, no, you're a white kid, stop it.
Right. So my mom actually bought me, it's kind of funny, a religious hip-hop CD, thinking, this would be the clean stuff.
Yeah.
So,
some of that is just as bad,
Right. I kind of realized, I'm ashamed to admit, but I would sneak, 50 Cent and everything else I could into my CD player just so I could listen to rap. I just was fascinated by it.
Did you put it in the religious CD case?
That would have been a really good idea.
That's actually that's what Bloodstain did. His grandparents would get him the religious CDs, and he would put oh gosh, what was it he told me he put in it? I think it was Linkin Park and Eminem, and in these CD cases, and they would never know.
That's brilliant. I can't believe I didn't think of that. I literally had mine under my bed. But at any rate, so basically, I was quickly, even though I loved the idea of rap, I was incredibly bored by the lyrical content. That goes both for the for the religious stuff as well as the mainstream stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really exposed to a lot of the underground, really unique stuff at that time.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's got to be a way to have this art form of hip hop, but just have really interesting content.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started writing my own really weird stuff. The very first rap I ever wrote, I wrote an album retelling an Edgar Allan Poe story. He's one of my favorite American horror authors.
Oh wow, cool.
I would actually write rhymes retelling his story in rhyme form. And I don't take a long time on this question, but I think, but anyways, as I got older, I started getting into the electronic scene for a while. I was really into Daft Punk. Daft Punk's still one of my favorite bands to this day.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because they're not hip-hop really at all.
No, but I imagine that just, any sort of music can influence you.
Right.
Music is kind of fluid, yeah.
Right. And that combination of, the production and the electronics and the synthesizers of, the Daft Punk and the electronic music I listened to, that kind of really influenced my own instrumentals in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this fascination with, the bizarre that really inspired my lyrics. I've always loved bizarre, weird stuff.
Yeah.
I love. And so, Like, so I listened to a lot of bands growing up, and he impacted me in their own little way. And, you know, and this is what happened. This is the result.
Well, I mean, it's a cool result. I mean, it's definitely, you know, so it seems like you kind of took a little bit from everywhere as you continued to grow up and mature.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And one thing commented on my face paint, you know, honestly, I had the idea of wearing face paint before I'd even heard of Insane Clown Posse, and yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people they down people in the underground, and I've heard this, you know, from others that I've interviewed in the past, you know, about face paint. You know, there seems to be a stigma there. A lot of people in the underground will discount you if you're wearing face paint because they're like, oh, you're just doing like ICP. And so you actually, you know, you knew, or you wanted to do the face paint before you knew anything about ICP.
Yes, French Rhymery was actually my inspiration for it. I mean, because, you know, with mine, they say actions speak louder than words. They make no sounds, and I thought that was a cool concept.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense, believe it or not, because now I'm thinking of the face paint, and there's different face paint. Like, I've noticed you change it here and there, and yeah, I mean, like, it'll be like one color and then it'll be another color, and I mean, why is the change? I mean, is there a specific reason? Is it a mood thing, or I mean, what's the deal
very
with?
Much a mood thing.
It is very much a mood thing.
In all honesty. Yeah, like the colors, really the colors and the designs I make, you know. I used to do just a straight white base and then do colors over top of it. I've actually moved away from the white base, and I just do the colors now.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you know, just the colors and designs I do, just depending on how I'm feeling. You know, I typically do blue when I'm feeling sad. I know my last show I did in Birmingham, I actually did a totally blue face. I don't know if you're
I really feel bad now because I didn't actually know what that meant, so I would have gave you a hug or something, but
it's alright.
Now I'll know for the next time if I see blue.
Right. Well, you're gonna see something different on the next time, but
oh, really?
Red represents the demon. No, red represents the demon. You're gonna see a lot of red on the next show.
Okay.
I'm doing in Birmingham, so.
So
yeah, definitely.
And,
to the madness.
Yeah, I should go ahead and I should put in a plug for that. June 26th, Midsummer Meltdown, Birmingham, Alabama, the High Note. You will be there, and as well as Bloodstain, Johnny Wild, TMP, Dark Side, Sub-Zero, Mac Hatchet. Am I forgetting anybody? I probably am. Lots of people, yeah. I think I got most of you. But so that next show we're gonna be seeing a lot of red. So you're gonna be more representative of the demon.
For sure, it's gonna be a little more sadness. I don't want to say more aggression, but definitely more anger.
Anger, okay.
Yes.
Well, anger conveys a point. I mean, I guess all emotions, they convey their own point. So anger, I don't think I've actually seen you angry. So I'm interested to see that and see, you know, I'm always filming. So I should tell the listeners out there that it will be on my YouTube, and I always send the footage to Lunatic Librarian afterwards if I'm at the same show. So you'll get to see it too, even if you're not able to attend the Birmingham show. So.
And if you can, though, it'll be fun.
Yeah, there we go. So, I mean, we talked about, you know, what you have, you know, actually, you know, what has inspired you through the years and whatnot. I mean, what kind of music do you know, actually listen to now? I mean, like, what kind of, if we looked at your playlist, like, what would it look like? Would we be surprised, or?
You would be extremely surprised by some of it, I'm not gonna lie. There's some extreme jumps in mood and lyrical content. Like, if you just picked up my iPod right now, just, you know, press random and just cycle through it, I mean, you see a lot of Twisted Insane, I'm not gonna lie. Twisted Insane, he's one of my idols, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I can go into a little bit more why that is, but basically his lyrical, not just because he raps with great delivery, but his lyrical content, I feel like he really captures.
He tells a story. He tells a story a lot too, I've noticed, and
he certainly does.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to actually, I guess you would say catch people and really catch their emotions is tell that story, because so many people can relate to a story.
Right.
And I know I can actually consider you kind of a storyteller in some aspects.
Oh, very much so. I consider myself a storyteller as well. I mean, every album I put out, like I say, if you listen to the songs in order and pay attention to the lyrics, it's possible to pick out a story. Like I said, what counts as a listener, but it's not totally obvious, but I definitely consider myself a storyteller. Yeah,
it's definitely, I know, before you, I've seen you before, and you've actually, stood up there with your book, and, actually,
right?
Yeah, the whole 9 yards, and, so, you're definitely a storyteller, and I can definitely see, the correlation where you would like Twisted Insane, definitely.
Right. So you go right from the Twisted Insane, then you go into then you could definitely go into some classical. We have, you have some Beethoven, some Bach, some Mozart. That really would shock some people.
Mm-hmm.
You go right from that into some Daft Punk, some electronic. I listen to a little bit of dubstep. So it's a lot of stuff. Honestly, the only thing I don't listen to a lot, I hope I don't offend anyone with this, I don't listen to a lot of country music. No hate, I have no hate towards it at all. I respect all art forms. But it doesn't move me, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it just doesn't. And I can understand that. It is much the same with me. I listen to some country music, but it's stuff like Garth Brooks, who I feel like, can connect with people, and like Dixie Chicks and stuff like that. And, but in general, I don't want to hear about, I sold my truck, I went fishing, the lady left me, and I'm drinking some whiskey. And I almost feel like that's every country song, sadly.
Very true. And I think, when it comes to the mainstream music, almost every genre is like that in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Where they focus on, it's like every song is about the same lyrical content.
Yeah.
Not just for country, but...
Well, yeah, I noticed, have you actually seen on, like, YouTube, they actually have put together, like, all these songs that, like, hit at the same time or around the same time, and they, like, blend perfectly into each other. Like, it's almost like they're the same song. There's, like, several of them. I was watching one, the other night that had, like, 40 different songs, and it was, it went from, hip-hop songs to pop, and they all, were mainstream, and they all just, they all blended into each other, and they all kind of sounded the same, and it was kind of disappointing.
Because I gotta say, if I could, in relation to that, when it comes to, music, I've always said there's a spectrum of, musical melodies. On one end you got stuff that's really catchy, sounds really good to hear immediately, but very common, very simple. You've heard it a million times.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the spectrum, that a lot of mainstream music focuses on. They want it to be immediately catchy. It's the same tunes and melodies. You've heard it, corporate corrections, you've heard it 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. You've heard it, and I think the familiarity is what, makes people, actually make it a hit, so to speak, because they have heard it a million times. Yeah, and so we're accustomed to what we're used to. I personally like the stuff that's got to grow on you a little bit.
Oh, amen to that. For sure. So as I was saying, at the other end of the musical spectrum, you got the stuff that, it isn't immediately catchy to the ear. It's more abstract, a little more intricate.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's a good middle ground where you got, unique, intricate melodies and abstract melodies that literally sound good too. So, that's what I aim for, that sweet spot.
Yeah, that sweet spot right in the middle. And I believe you get that because, you do have, a catchiness about your songs, but, there are a couple of them, that I've heard that, it wasn't my favorite at first. Let's see, what was the one that, it was, Be Gentle with Absalom. I was the first time I heard it, I was kind of like, I'm not sure. And then I listened to it again, and I was like, no, wait a minute. There's something here. Something keeps bringing me back. And I listened to it probably like 7 more times. And then I was like, okay, I love it.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that's encouraging to me.
And it's definitely, so I think you're definitely getting, where you want to be, so to speak, on the spectrum. Right. So in general, like I said, not to jump around a ton, but we were speaking again about your personas, and is there a favorite? Yeah, I always do. I always get on a tangent with everybody, and we got time. So as long as you got time, I got time. So all right. I mean, when we speak about your personas, is the one that's actually more dear to your heart, more your favorite, or are they all equally valid to you?
I would say, alright, the newest one, Puppet Box, is probably my favorite. Now, let me explain why. The Lunatic Librarian is about where I am now. Puppet Box is more about where I want to be. And Dr. Daddy Azor is more about kind of relates to Lunatic Librarian in that regard of, the darkness, the inner demons, the sadness. Lunatic Librarian and Dr. Daddy Azor are both very similar in that regard. Puppet Box is more about not where I am now, but where I'd like to be. Puppet Box, I don't like to write too much about his character because the upcoming full length that I'm actually done with, it tells a lot about his backstory. But he's a good guy. He's my strive to be. So
he's
my favorite.
I know he's very mysterious, and
very much so.
I mean, what can you he's a good guy, but what can you tell us as far as obviously, only tell what you want to tell, because like you said, a lot, is forthcoming, but, where does he, come from, or what can you tell us about him, and, when we'll actually know more about him?
Alright, well, we'll find out tons about him in his album released in August, but what I will say now, though, basically he's the type of guy that, this Puppet Box character, he's a celestial being, like an angel of sorts. But basically, he doesn't hang out with the other angels because he doesn't feel like he's worthy. He feels like by strutting around up there in heaven, he feels like it's a pride thing. He's not a proud guy. He's a very humble guy. He's not hanging out with the humans on Earth. Yeah. So he's really down to earth guy, and kind of that's how I want to be. I started to show kindness to everyone. I started to be empathetic, and show empathy, and that's really what Puppet Box is all about. Is not having any tolerance for hatred or unkindness, and
I can honestly say, I've never seen you treat anyone badly, and I've never actually seen you actually have a bad word for anyone. It seems like, I guess, if you have a negative opinion of someone, you're keeping it to yourself if you even have one, because I've not. Obviously everybody's got a negative opinion about somebody, but, we're humans, but, in that sense, I've noticed, you're always very positive and always, seemingly very encouraging and nice to everyone around you.
That's how I believe in being, and there's two reasons for that. Firstly, it's the fact, I've been, I went through a time in my life and I was suicidal, extremely so. And there were points where I felt like one unkind word or one wrong thing of somebody would be enough to push me to doing something terrible to myself. And I think, I never know. Someone may smile on the outside, but I never know what they're struggling with on the inside. And I would never want to be the one to say an unkind word to someone to push them to doing something terrible like that.
Oh, absolutely. And I believe you. I totally believe, on that same, spectrum that, I think that, there are a lot of people that are at their breaking point, and we just don't realize it. And unfortunately, suicide is something that is stigmatized, and mental health is stigmatized. It's one of those things like, you can tell people, okay, I have this or I have that. It's like I'm bipolar and I have borderline personality disorder and anxiety, and as soon as, I'm pretty open about it, but I've noticed, as soon as you tell someone, sometimes they'll, totally start treating you differently. And it's not in a good way.
Absolutely.
So, I I definitely agree with you, that there is, I've been suicidal in my life as well, too, and actually had suicide attempts, and there were times, where if someone had said the wrong thing to me, then, that probably would have created another attempt. So, I absolutely believe, and, like I said, I've definitely never seen you, be mean to anyone, but I do have one strange kind of question. If it's too personal, you can tell me back off and we'll move on, but, in general, you said Puppet Box doesn't hang out with the other angels.
Right.
So, is that because, is that a reflection of yourself? Maybe do you feel like you're not hanging out with a certain group or something to that degree?
I would say you hit the nail right on the head. I can elaborate on that if you'd like me to.
Oh, go ahead and elaborate, please.
Yeah, well, mainly, I'll just be honest. Mainly, I grew up in the, going to church a lot. My family made me go to church when I grew up. And, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like a lot of the way a lot of people there acted. And,
yeah, it seems like it's more of a, and I've noticed this, and I'm not stigmatizing all Christians by any means, because I have Christian friends, and that's not, I believe every group of people has good people and bad people, and there are some people who are, just doing awful things on Saturday, and then on Sunday they're pretending they're a saint.
Right?
Yeah.
I was made fun of a lot and bullied within the church, and it was, terrible effect on my psyche, and I think that's a damn shame.
Yeah, you wouldn't think, you would think that church would actually be more of a safe haven, and unfortunately, a lot of times it just isn't that way. Bullying goes on in far too many situations and is unnoticed and undealt with, unfortunately. And that, I can imagine that would have created, some of the darker patterns of thinking, but,
It certainly did. And,
you gotta have, I guess, the one thing I could say about that is to have light, you have to also have darkness as well, so it kind of balances a little, but still, I am very sorry that happened to you. It just, it is a shame. It's a shame that it would happen in a church environment. So you felt kind of, I guess, that you were there and you just didn't really fit there, I guess.
Absolutely. And so look at Puppet Box. He lived up in heaven. He would believe in loving people, Puppet Box did, and not a mystical and tangible love, but a love that's shown through how you treat people,
Yeah.
You can easily say I love you to somebody, but if you treat them like shit, it's
exactly.
I don't really love them that much.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways.
Absolutely. So I just feel like, just like Puppet Box felt he could show love more and help humanity out more leaving heaven. That's why he's the rogue angel. That's why he wears the dark outfit, the dark mask, for those of you who've seen the imagery.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I can show more kindness to people from outside the church than from being in it.
Yeah, and yeah, that's and I've noticed there are a lot of, in your songs, there are a lot of, points to religion, and obviously, the angels and the demons and, things of that nature. So I've got to ask, was your upbringing in the church and things like that, is that why you focus on, angels and demons and things like that, or I guess I'm asking a kind of broad question, but, you know what I'm saying, what I'm trying to get at, right?
Well, that's all I was getting at, Well, growing up, all around, the Bible and church and church, traditions, I know a lot about it.
Yeah.
I just feel like something really, religious texts really inspire me to write music when I read them. I read about the characters and the stories, and I think the angels and demons, and I'm fascinated by it, and I think it provides me a good, canvas to paint my art with. So, if I wasn't raised, in the church, I don't think I would rely on religious imagery in my art as much as I do.
Yeah, well, I find it fascinating. I do, and I'm not, I'm a pagan, and I'm not, super religious, but, you know, it,
believe me.
yeah, it's very, you know, I have to say, even as a not super religious person, you know, the religious imagery that you use is very fascinating. And I believe it can pull in anyone. Yeah, I mean, you know, if it's interesting the hell out of you, it's interesting the hell out of everybody else, too. You know, it's kind of, and I think you're kind of bridging between, I guess you would say, religions. And was that ever a goal for you, you know, to, like, I guess you would say, I mean, did you ever think that your music would potentially, you know, kind of bridge the gap, that even though you may be talking, you know, about something that is Christian imagery, that people from other religions would be able to relate to that? Did you ever envision that?
You know, I actually did. Let me tell you something. You see, I'm right in my heart, you know, I want to speak to anybody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, when I rely on this religious imagery, you know, something that, you know, everyone knows about, at least to a certain extent, like, you know, things such as angels and demons, they're things that, you know, that's not a specifically Christian concept. I mean, those things that many religions talk about, you know, the spiritual realm, and I feel it's stuff that, you know, a lot of people can relate to, and
yeah,
you know, I want a lot of people to relate to, you know. I mean, so that's what I aim for, so.
Awesome. And it makes sense, and I mean, but I have to ask, and this is a strange question, but I think, you know, it may be on other people's minds. Would you liken yourself more to an angel or more to a demon, or do you feel like you have both aspects?
Right, so, alright, I love this question. So, both aspects for sure. Now, let me, see, I have a terrible habit. This is a very, bad thing, but I compare myself to people a lot. I'll think, you know, I wish I was, I mean, sometimes I know it's wrong, but I'll think, you know, I'm not as good as this person's better than me, I wish I was as good as this person in this regard.
Well, I think actually a lot of people do that, but a lot of people aren't brave enough to say they do it.
For sure. So, yeah, I try to be open and honest when I can, but, so, like, look at my song, Demons to Desires. Obviously, I talk about, you know, but I'm an angel, still wants the demon. And that song, I talk about, you know, the good in me, you know, like, I talk about, you know, the angel within me, and but how someone wants me to become a demon.
Yeah.
Look at another song of mine, like, She's Crafted in God's Image. I don't know if you've heard that one or not.
I have. Yeah, I actually have. I follow you pretty hardcore. I just don't.
Thank you. You know, that song, because I refer to myself as a demon in that song. And that song, I'm a demon. I say, you know, this girl's crafted in God's image. I'm crafted in the devil's image. Mm-hmm. And that song, you know, I talk about the evil within me. So I really can't tell which I'm more of, you know, because I try to be an angel, you know, I try to, you know, try to find this, but I mean, there's darkness in my heart. I'm not gonna lie, like there's in everybody's, and I got things I struggle with, and
well, yeah, I mean, you're human. Well, yeah, I mean, I imagine, you know, and everybody has, you know, as human beings, you know, I guess, you know, at least the good ones of us, we strive to be an angel, but then at the same time, we've all got things, you know, like jealousy, you know, like, you know, obviously you said comparing to other people, you know, things like that, you know, that make us, you know, have those bad traits as well, and everybody has them. I mean, nobody that is out there listening can sit there and say, I am a total angel. I mean, they can't, but it's interesting because it kind of goes back to what you were saying in the church. There are people who would have you believe that they totally are, and it's disappointing to see people, I guess, you know, actually say, you know, oh, I'm totally, you know, an angel, and I'm totally this great person, and not, you know, take into account that, you know, everybody's hurt somebody else, and everybody has, you know, at some point thought bad things and things like that. So, you know, I do understand your answer. I think that's pretty cool. You know, you know you're both.
Right, absolutely.
Gosh, well... Yeah, I know we've gotten off on a tangent, but it's just it's very fascinating. You're a very fascinating artist, so And I find myself as a fan interviewing you, which sometimes the people I interview, I'm not quite a fan of them, but I'm professional, and I talk to them, and I ask them about things, but, as a fan, I find our interview very interesting because I find myself sitting here, popping up with questions I didn't even pre-approve with you, which is crappy of me, I'm sorry, but like I said, anything that I ask, of course, you're welcome to just say, let's move on, and we will. But, anyway, getting back, on track, because like I said, we've totally went way off the grid, but that's cool. Like I said, you have time, I have time. So, in general, tell us about your upcoming projects. I mean, what's coming up for you?
Oh my God, awesome stuff. So, of course, the new Puppet Box album. Basically, it's an album it's called Iris Red and the Witches of Latham. It's about Puppet Box's interaction with a group of witches.
Oh
my
cool.
God, it's going to be an amazing album. And let me say, I've got 3, I'm not going to say who they are, but I do have 3 female hip-hop artists lined up to play these witches for this project. So I am, you can make your guesses, but I will not say a word.
Oh, well, I won't make guesses because people are presumptuous, and then that'll be the rumor, and they'll run with it if I say it, and they'll be like, oh, because, they're in the same local scene, she must know, and I do not know, guys, so don't ask me, I have no clue. I will find out when everybody else does. I may get privy to certain things because, my boyfriend, Bloodstain, does, work with you in the library art, and so I am privy to some things, but I'm not privy to this information, guys, so if you want to know, you can beg him, but I don't think he's going to tell you.
I gotta keep it under wraps.
Yeah, I gotta keep it under wraps, so it's gonna be a pretty big thing, though, I'm guessing, and I guess, in general, they're playing the witches, so all 3 of these witches, are they going to be different personas as well, I'm assuming?
Yes, absolutely.
And did you actually make these characters as well?
I did. I came up with names for each of them. But basically, these artists who are going to be playing these roles, I didn't write their lyrics for them. I just told them, background on their character and gave them told them what their character's purpose is, and let them run with it, however they interpret it. So.
Awesome. So basically, it was a situation where you went to them and you're like, okay, this is your backstory. This is where you're coming from. So this is where you should write from. But then kind of gave them the creative lease to write from that standpoint.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I would never want to write someone's lyrics for them.
Oh yeah, that would be a little lame, right? I mean, write somebody's lyrics. And then writing a female's lyrics. I mean, I would imagine that would be a little challenging too.
For sure.
It reminds me of that I forget the show, but she's like, I'm a pretty girl. Oh no, but that definitely sounds, very fascinating. And you said August is am I correct? Is that when Puppet Box's album is coming out?
Absolutely, it will be in August. It's done, but I want to wait till after Bloodstain's album's released. I don't want to release them too close to each other, so.
Oh, you're awesome, man. That's actually really good bits. He's actually standing here shaking his head right now, so yeah. he's smiling. I think he wanted to listen in on the interview, so he obviously he has a ton of respect for you, as you know, and
I respect for him as well. I honestly, I always told him, if I was going to start my own label, which I did, there were 3 artists in mind that have proven themselves to me as reliable. He was one of them. That's why I offered him the contract. But,
yeah, I think y'all will do amazing things together. I really do. And when I remember he came to me about it, and he's like, this is what's going on. And at that time, I was, pretty much, doing everything for EVP. And I was like, you know what? I was like, no. I was like, go this way. I was like, go, you know, I think this is going to be probably the best thing. You know, and he was like, this is what I really want. And I was like, yeah. I was like, this, you know. And I was like, and that, you know, frees me up to do other things in the underground, because obviously I was focusing a lot on EVP. And, you know, I was like, no, I was like, this is a really good way to go, because I could just see, you know, how all this creativeness was going to mesh together and just be a wonderful thing. So, I mean, I could foresee it, and I know, you know, obviously, you know, you saw in your vision, or you wouldn't have pulled him in and pulled EVP in, and, you know, him and Heatheness, and then I know also you pulled in Loose Cannon Entertainment, Choco.
Choco, yes, I love Choco to death. I love all you guys. Choco's another good friend of mine in the underground, and of course, very talented, so he was another natural choice.
Yeah, Choco is definitely a very, very nice guy. I've always had respect and always liked him since the first time I met him. And you know, we are quite different personalities, me and Choco. But he is a very good dude and is super talented. Oh wow.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. So you've got this whole umbrella thing going on, and yeah, I mean, I can imagine just huge things are coming for, you know, the Library Art LLC in general.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm just hoping, you know, just trying to stay the course, you know, keep putting out good music, keep, you know, marketing, promoting ourselves well, and I do the best we can. We'll see where it turns out.
I think y'all are on the right path. I really do. And Bloodstain's shaking his head again. He's yeah, he gave me the thumbs up. Yeah, I think everything is gonna turn out well, and I think y'all are all a great mix together. It's really, I will say, although I cannot play it because I'm not at liberty to do so, and it's not finished, I actually was able to hear the Library Art Cypher, and
I'm so excited about that.
Oh, yes, that is straight. I will just say, like I said, I can't play it to you guys that are listening, but it was just amazing. Just every artist, you know, really showed themselves, you know, in a huge, huge way, and just so much diversity, but at the same time, it all goes so well together.
Yes, and we are getting a video shot for it. I'll do that next month, and it's kind of a very cool concept behind it, so I'm really excited to get this out there.
So, I mean, can you tell us anything about the video concept, or is that something we should wait on?
I'll tell you a little bit. Essentially, you know, Puppet Box, he doesn't sit a verse on the track, but he does on the cypher. He's kind of the, he provides the framework that all fits into it. I'll just leave it at that, you know. I don't want to give away too much, but it's going to be really cool. Awesome. So that, you know, you're hoping to get it shot next month. So if you're getting it shot next month, when do you think it would actually be, you know, released to the public so that they could actually see it? Hopefully, I hope to do it by the end of July, honestly. That is really close. So you guys out there listening, get excited for that. Yeah, because that's, like I said, it just, yeah, I mean, when I heard the cypher, I mean, and it was, you know, it was Heatheness, he was coming to me, because he was like, give me approval on this, Mama Badger. He's like, come on, he's like, tell me, is this good? And I'm just like, I listened to the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is amazing. And I was like, I'm totally keeping this for my personal use. I'm like, I know I can't leak it right now, but I'm keeping it for my personal use right now to straight bump this for myself. Yes, I love it. It's fire. And I hate to tip my own horn, so to speak, but it's a dope-ass track. Oh, yes, it is. I know. I feel bad for the listeners because, like, we know what they don't, but they'll know. Right? They'll know. We're like holding it above them, you know, like a little balloon that they just can't get to. But you guys, seriously, it will be worth waiting for, I promise. Oh, we're awful people, but okay. Obviously, we talked about
June 26th, Midsummer Meltdown, you know, you're going to be able to be seen live, and you're going to be Lunatic Librarian for that show, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and are there any other shows that you've got, you know, planned as any of your personas, you know, that are going on, or are we, you know, just kind of doing the other stuff and waiting?
Well, basically, what the next song I lined up August 22nd. We're still getting all the details worked out, but we're me and myself at Urban Chaos Entertainment. They're a big underground promoter here in Atlanta. They're good friends of mine.
Uh-huh.
We're renting out the Masquerade, which is an infamous underground venue in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Masquerade is a great venue. Yes, I was just there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice. I can't believe I didn't see you.
No, it wasn't for an underground show. You were probably not there. It was actually, I listened to some crazy stuff. So I was there for Hollywood Undead. So,
Oh, yeah, I like Hollywood Undead.
Oh, cool.
I would have gone if I knew you were there just to see you, but anyway.
Dude, like, we actually had an extra ticket, too. So I wish I had known that you liked them, because we actually had an extra ticket because we had somebody that was going and then could not go. So, like, totally, we could have slipped you an extra ticket and you could have gone. So next time, if something like that happens, we will definitely get in touch and, you know, let you know. Because now I feel like I'm like, oh man, come on, you know.
But yeah, like, this show on August 22nd, though, you know, we're bringing down a pretty cool headliner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give it away yet because I wouldn't like giving away without talking with Urban Chaos, who they're also co-promoting this show with me. But
Yeah.
It's going to be a dope-ass show, dope-ass headliner. There's going to be artists on it around the show who aren't affiliated with library art.
Uh-huh.
But, we are going to have a library art segment of the show. So that's going to be really dope. So it's going to be a dope show, August 22nd. We don't have a Facebook group up for it yet because we're still waiting to get the headliner fund on it.
Yeah, get the official stuff actually, I guess you would say, out there before you make the Facebook event and all of that. And obviously I'll be there. So, I mean, you know, I'll be there. I mean, it'd be kind of crappy if I wasn't, right?
I mean, I would be very disappointed.
I mean, if my, you know, boyfriend's actually going to be performing, and then, you know, it you know, obviously would be a really crappy thing for me to not be there. I actually, I skipped the last show that happened at, and I believe you weren't able to make it either, the last show that was at, the High Note. And, apparently there were so many issues with the show, and I ended up skipping it, and David came home, or Bloodstained. Sorry, Bloodstained. Anyway, he came home, and he was just like so bummed that I didn't go, and he was just like, and I had some issues the day before, and let's just face it, alcohol and me sometimes don't go together, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm apparently not allowed to miss any other shows, so, but I wouldn't want to miss it anyway, and I know, I believe that, I already know who the headliner is, am I right? Because I believe I saw it posted in the, so I think, yeah, again, let's just put the balloon up there and just all this stuff we know, guys, you know, but if I'm, like I said, I am aware of who the headliner is, and that's going to be an amazing show, and also, you know, having a library art segment is going to be, you know, really, really awesome, and of course I'll be filming it, guys, so if you're not able to be down there in Atlanta, again, you know, we'll try to get video out there to you, alright? Alright, well, I mean, and we've gone off on a tangent again. Wow, we're burning it up tonight, right? Aren't we?
Not a single question yet.
Oh, we've got through some questions. You've answered a lot of questions, but then I've added like 80 questions, like as we went along.
That's fine. I love it.
Good. Well, at least you're working with me, and you're not like, okay. She said this interview would not be that long, and here we are. You know?
I don't have to know yet. I'm fine.
Good, because I'm fine too, and I'm sure the listeners are fine. I'm sure they're having a blast. So, but anyway, going back to, planned questions, and we'll probably get off on another tangent again. We know how it's going, but what has been, as far as your career in general, what has been your favorite moment so far? Like, what was, I guess you would say some artists call it the defining moment, and some artists, just call it a favorite moment. What's been yours?
Right. Oh, wow. There's a couple. I mean, there's several moments. Well, okay. The first time, I'll tell two of them. One of the good, cool moments was the first time someone asked me for an autograph. I was playing a little show in Marietta, Georgia, and some girl, I don't even know who she was. I've never seen her since. For all I know, she was an angel from heaven who went back up there afterwards.
Aww.
She came up to me and said, pulled out one of my CDs and like, hey, can you sign this for me? And I didn't even have a marker on me because I was like, no one wants my autograph.
Oh.
She had a marker, and I signed it for her. That just made me feel so special. Someone actually wanted my autograph.
Right, because it actually shows you. But then also the fact she pulled out your CD, it kind of shows you that, and with social media these days, you expect to see your fans. You expect to, you expect that, you're going to know, your fans on a personal level. At least to some extent you're going to know who they are because you're going to see them, posting on your page. You're going to see them interacting. But you said you haven't seen this girl since, so that kind of shows you that there are people that you're touching that, you're not necessarily seeing on, social networking and things like that. So that actually shows you that your reach is actually further than, you even know.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. I imagine that would be a cool moment. It would be, and like you said, maybe she was an angel, but I think going more logistically, I think, it actually shows, that your reach is actually, further out there than you actually know, and that's a pretty cool thing because, knowing and seeing your fans, I mean, I imagine that's really cool, but, also knowing that there's people out there in the background that are listening to you, that you're touching, that you may not even know, that's a pretty powerful thing.
It is. It's amazing, and it really makes me feel special. So.
Aww. And you said that was one of the defining moments, and you said you had a few more, so, I mean, go ahead, tell us about them.
All right. I'll share one more. This one is about, a big influence on my, I believe, as an artist, humility is an important thing. I shouldn't think I'm, even if you are the shit, you shouldn't act like you're the shit. So,
yeah, because then you start smelling like the shit.
Amen. So basically, I'm opening up for Twisted and Sane at this one show in Birmingham. This was a few years ago. And I'm really excited. I'd never met him in person. He's as a huge fan of his. I was like so excited. And I was there, in my face paint to, come opening for him. And I see like all these other openers walk in who God knows who they were. They're just, and I'm like, is that this thing? No. Is that this thing? No. They're so flashy, they got all this bling.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, every time someone walked in, I looked up, see if it was Twisted and Sane. At this point, I saw it wasn't. Well, finally, he walks in. Everyone else is all flashy, all the bling and everything. He's just wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wow, this guy, when I walked up to him, I'm like, I just got to die to him. So I extend my hand, and I'm like, hey, sir, I'm Lunatic Librarian. It's a pleasure to meet you. And he literally shakes my hand, looks at me, smiles, and says, no, it's a pleasure to meet you. And then, he smiles along the way, and I'm like,
oh,
this
cool.
guy is the shit, but he's acting very humble.
Yeah.
That was very cool. So, I just try to, I'm grateful for every opportunity I get in the music industry. I'm grateful for every show I put on, every interview I put on, every time someone offers me to collab, I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope, even no matter how many fans I have, I hope I never lose sight of that. I just think humility is a very important thing. So
yeah, and there's, I know that, and obviously, as an artist, I mean, if you reach the level of, quote unquote famous, I mean, it's obviously, it's a little intrusive, as far as your personal life goes, but I believe you can still, stay humble and still set boundaries and say, okay, but you've got to be respectful too, and not be outside my house with a GoPro,
True that.
Yeah. and I mean, in general, I mean, what is your thought process on that? I mean, what are you striving for fame? I mean, is that something you would want?
In all honesty, first of all, I want my music to reach as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, as far as fame goes, I mean, first of all, money is not at all unmotivated for me.
Yeah.
Not in the slightest. And I'm to be 100% honest with that. I mean, as far as, I don't like the word fame, but it seems like there's a lot of glitter and glamour around it.
Yeah, and it's kind of a basket term, it's just kind of a, I guess a better, term would be, being more known, more renowned.
I would love that just so I get my art into more people's hands, honestly. I mean, it's a special thing to me when people hear my art, and the more you hear it, the happier I am. So I would love it and be honored, if more people would listen to it.
Awesome. So, I mean, when we speak about, things of that nature, and I'm just curious, and I've asked a lot of people this, and I've got a lot of different answers, and I mean, I think all answers to this question are valid, because as long as you're being real about it, it's valid, but, in general, I mean, would you be comfortable leaving the quote-unquote underground if you started to be considered a mainstream artist?
I'll just be totally honest. It's hard to say what I do if someone named me a contract with $100,000 signing bonus.
It's hard to predict, yeah.
Right, but I would lose all the joy that comes to my art if I was forced to write a certain thing or say a certain thing or be censored or rap to a beat that I'm not musically feeling, like we talked about before. I really hope I would. I like to think that I turn it down, because honestly, if I was a mainstream artist and I had record labels controlling me, and if I wasn't given my artistic freedom, I would definitely turn down any offer to go mainstream, because that loses all the joy in my music if I'm not being real with it.
I think so, and I mean, so, obviously you said money is not, a huge motivator for you, so, I mean, basically this is for you, this is about the passion, and this is about getting it out there to reach people, so this is about you, and this is about your fans.
Right?
Awesome.
Absolutely. I want to show kindness to people. I want to come in contact with as many people as possible I can show kindness to.
Yeah.
And I would really like that to be able to do that. So.
That's cool. That's an awesome answer. I like that answer. Like I said, I've asked a good majority of people that, and I've gotten everything from your answer to no, I'd take the money and do whatever they wanted, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess, like I said, all answers are valid. It depends on the person and what they're doing this for.
Right.
So I would never judge somebody, like I said, for I guess, if they're sitting there, and they're going to make millions of dollars, I wouldn't judge them, but I think there's things that are a lot more important. Sounds like you do too, things that are a lot more important, which is, the passion that goes into it and actually reaching out to people, but also, having your creative, right, so, I mean, in general, I mean, I guess, and this is kind of a blanket question too, and it's totally off the wall, but, like, say somebody like, Strange Music, Psychopathic, say they came to you and wanted to sign you, and they said, you could keep, your creative vision, but, you've kind of gotta, you gotta obviously, start, promoting them and doing that, when it comes to something like that, I mean, would you leave the library art behind and the artists that, you've taken under the umbrella? I mean, honestly, I mean, what would you do there? I mean, that's a tough one, though.
It really is a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. First of all, psychopathic maybe streets. I can't see that ever happening. But as far as just trying to make it realistic contract, say psychopathic did offer me a contract.
Yeah, I mean theoretically,
Right.
or Magic Ninja Entertainment, where Twisted is, or somewhere like that, just somewhere equally as known and big.
Right.
I mean, because those are the huge underground giants.
Right. I would do everything in my power to bring my friends, because they take no cross, business and friendship, but I really do. Everyone I've signed to the library, I consider my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do, and I wouldn't sign anybody I didn't consider my friend, honestly.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, why would you want to work with people that you don't like? I mean, that,
Right.
and that's always been, honestly, I'm the same way, and, I have always, mixed business with friendship over and over and over, and sometimes it has not worked out well. And then but at the same time, you know what? It's very hard to work with people and that you don't like, for one, and then secondary to that, it's very hard to work around people that you're thrown together with, and if you like their personality, not become friends with them.
Right. Very true.
I mean, we kind of sometimes don't get to pick those situations. It just happens.
Right.
I mean, I've been in radio, for quite some time, at various radio stations, and, I came into it, I didn't, really want to, make friends in it, because, I've been told, stay away from making friends, and then I did, because we all would joke, we all would cut up, and then we'd all have each other's back, and then that loyalty came in, and then it was just okay, it's well, all my coworkers are my buddies now,
Huh?
But I guess it just happens like that. But that's really an admirable answer. I really I respect that. I definitely do.
Right. I would do everything I can to bring my friends with me, you know what I'm saying?
Obviously. Yeah, I mean, obviously you gotta look out for yourself. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
On my record.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, obviously there's a point where you have to take care of yourself, but like you voiced, you're trying to do everything to be, as good to people as possible. So it would be a tough situation, I can imagine, for you, but it's really respectful, your answer. That's really cool. I really respect that.
Thank you.
Because not a lot of people, I mean, honestly, and you know it, because you see it just as well as I do, the underground is a very cutthroat place.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't keep up with who hates who these days, honestly.
I know, and, these days I stay out of it. I really do, because I
Right.
see, because it will turn into wars between my friends, and they'll be
Right.
on different sides, and I'm like, nope, because
I know what you mean, look at me.
yeah, I mean, and it's hurtful, obviously, to see your friends going at each other and taking jabs, because you want to defend your friend, but then, wait, this other person is your friend too, and it becomes very messy. The underground is a very hard place. I think for any of us that are actual nice people, which, obviously I consider you a nice person, I think it's hard for anybody that is a nice person to deal with the underground, but I think it's worth it also.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, going back, because I know we've done it again. Speaking of, working with people and things like that, you've worked with quite a good bit of artists. Who has been your favorite artist to work with, and why is that?
Oh my gosh, alright.
Putting you on the spot, right?
No, that's fine. Well, I'm gonna give a couple of good shout-outs here. First of all, I opened up a Stone of LSD when he stopped at in Marietta, Georgia last year.
Yeah.
And,
Great guy, so nice.
Oh yeah, he was I didn't know how he responded to my music. He shook my hand. He's like, "Great job, brother." He was really kind to me. I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hit him up for this collab, he was totally down. Because he appeared on the Duck Daddy Soul record. And I loved his verse. Oh my gosh, he really, I loved it. And he's a great guy, and like I hit him up recently asking if I could do some things with that track he was on, submit them to mixtapes one night. He's like, man, do whatever you want with it, brother. I was glad to be a part of it. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, every time I've had to communicate with him for business purposes, he has been nothing but humble and kind and respectful and just totally different than what you would expect if you heard his lyrics.
Right. And then I also got to throw a big shout out to the Cutthroat Productions people. I mean, Comatose and Letitia Gore have been very good supporters of mine.
Oh yeah, favorites of mine, absolute favorites of mine, good people. I've actually interacted with them a good bit too, and great people.
Right, because Comatose appeared on the Toys track, on the Dark Today's Soul record alongside myself and Scum. And he killed it. Comatose actually mastered the whole Dark Today's Soul record.
Mm-hmm.
Did a great job, and I've collaborated with Letitia Gore a couple times, and they're very kind sport to me. They hit me up on my. They actually reached out to me. I never contacted them. I was just fans of theirs, and they actually inboxed me, telling me they loved my work, and that really.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Well, I mean, I noticed, and I from when I first saw you to where you are now, I mean, you've gained a lot more recognition than when I first met you. When I first, met you and saw you, you were, like, totally a secret. I mean, it was literally like you were a secret. You were, totally, like, pushed in the closet like a secret. And I'm like, why does nobody know about this guy? And then as time went on, more and more people, knew about you. And a lot of people know about you now, like a lot.
And it means a lot to me. Everybody who listens to my music, it means the world to me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I should pay people to listen to my music.
Oh. But you're reaching them, and have a dollar because you're singing along,
Right? Oh my God, nothing makes me feel as good as when I see people sing along when I'm performing live.
Oh.
I go back and someone actually knows my lyrics. Oh my God, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, you actually said something to me one time. I remember, and we didn't know each other that well yet. I was singing along, and you're like, yeah, you were singing along to my lyrics. I really appreciate that. And I was like, what a humble, nice dude. And I was like, because most people don't notice, that you know all their lyrics and all that, And, it just definitely, I mean, you come across, very, very friendly, very approachable, and very respectful and humble. And so what you're, telling me, that you want to come across as, I'm telling you as a fan that you do come across that way, because I didn't know you that well yet. So I couldn't judge you as, I mean, obviously, like I said, we have affiliations to each other now, but then we did not. There was, there was no reason that you had to talk to me or be nice to me. I mean, at all, but you were, so, that definitely, so you come across the way that you're wanting to, so Scum, and then, you said Scum, and then Comatose and Letitia Gore, so those have been your favorites. Oh, yeah,
they have been my favorites.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, they're good people, and very, very talented people as well. But, in general, I mean, we've touched a little bit on this, but, this is a more direct way of asking it. What are your goals in this industry? I mean, ideally, when we're looking at, 2020, 2025, 5 years, 10 years from now, where do you want to ideally be in this industry? What is the goal? What is the game plan?
I mean, I'll say my ultimate goal, when I'm looking about 5 years out, I'd like to see us with, a decent fan following to the point that we could actually go on, like, a national tour and people would actually book us.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, if I could get to that point, I would just, to the point where people will actually, pay to have us perform, I would consider that success in my book, honestly.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If people are going to bring you to their city, actually promoters take interest, that's, I mean, at that point, you pretty much made it.
Exactly. And, I don't want to be, it's not my goal to become, like a strange music, making millions of dollars and having articles in Forbes magazine, I mean, that would be great, but that's not really my goal, I'd just like to have some loyal fans who, would, buy the music we put out and be happy and come see us when we perform. And, I'd love to get to that point. I look at labels like, LSP, they're a big inspiration of mine. I'm not going to lie. I would love to, I just love what they do. I love their business model. I love how they operate, and I would love to be, get to reach their level. So
yeah, and and when you hear about it, LSP is cool with everybody. You never hardly, even in this cutthroat industry as it is, you never hardly hear, anybody, smash LSP. It's usually, everybody that talks about LSP is like, saying positive things. I've never had a problem with LSP. Nobody at LSP has ever been mean to me or, even somewhat close to mean to me. Every one of them that I've met, I have talked to, it has always been, very respectful. Every one of them, that... And, actually, one of my good friends is a producer over there, Billy Varigan, Leprechaun. He produced, actually, most of Scum's new album, and they're good people over there, just really, and the business model, I definitely would see where that is one to follow, because LSP is cool with everybody. There is nobody, if they hate LSP, they just must be a really negative person.
Right?
If you really see somebody like smash talking LSB, like you sit there and you're like, wow, what's wrong with this person? Because I'm thinking it's them, Oh gosh, yeah, definitely. But so I actually, I told you that I figured at some point in the interview, we would actually talk a little bit, more about Dr. Thaddeus Orr. So would you like to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, we can talk about the good doctor. People ask me why I went for kind of a steampunk look. Well, in all honesty, I've always been captivated by the whole steampunk architecture and artistic style, the dress, the look. I always thought it was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed, there never really was, I did a lot of research on it, I can find a steampunk rapper.
Yeah, I don't think it exists. Until you, I've never seen it.
I really couldn't find any. I found the one steampunk hip-hop act from the UK that was more of a comedy act, which is the opposite of what I'm going for.
And you're like, wait a minute, no, I want to do serious.
Exactly. So when I was looking to create a new character, to kind of, show other sides of myself, I thought, I'll make a steampunk character. And I went online and I pieced together every bit of the costume from his hat to his necklace he wears, and I just pieced it all together myself. And
well, I actually remember, and I'm going to touch on this real quick. When it came, you were, starting, the persona of Dr. Thaddeus Orr, you posted a picture, and you were like, I found a picture of my, my great-grandfather.
My great-grandfather.
Yeah! And I actually stared at that picture, and I thought for a second, like, before it clicked that it was a new persona, like, for a second I was like, wow, they look so much alike. Could be twins, huh?
Right?
So, Dr. Thaddeus Orr, a steampunk rapper, that's pretty innovative.
Right, and I felt that it was a pretty cool thing, and I had a lot of tracks that I produced that I felt were a little more dark than Lunatic Librarian style, and I felt, these tracks would be great for Dr. Thaddeus Orr.
Mm-hmm.
These instrumentals I produced. And so Dr. Thaddeus Orr, lyrically and musically, even though it's kind of similar to Lunatic Librarian, I think it's much more dark as a whole.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I touch on some dark things. I touch on, like, there's a track I did with Twisted St. Choco, which is focused on the group of serial killers. I had, had the track Boys, which is kind of about, falling into a dark depression, when you look at all the evil in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's touches on some really dark places on that record. It has some hopeful moments, but it's also a very dark record, the Dark Thaddeus Orr album. And that's the direction I'm continuing with Dark Daddy Thor in future releases. So.
Okay, so I mean, what is coming up, for the Doctor? I mean, are there any like actual like planned, releases?
There certainly are.
Okay, well, tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I'm actually working on a second album for Dark Daddy Thor, which I hope will release by the end of the year. I already have a handful of instrumentals made for it. I'm just in the planning phase of it, thinking what direction I want to go with the story.
Mm-hmm.
But don't let that dismay you, because I write music pretty rapidly. I mean, the fact that I'm still in this planning stage doesn't mean it's going to take an eternity to get the album out.
Well, when you say pretty rapidly, I mean, like, how rapidly do you spit out music? I mean, I have to ask.
Right. But basically, honestly, once I have the longest part is the instrumental creation. Like, once I'll write the song on the piano, then I'll go and produce the instrumental. That's kind of the most time-consuming part.
Yeah.
And then the second phase is, coming up with the concept of the song and the lyrics. That can take a while. Once I have that all down, I can record the vocals and the snap. So I write a lot of music. I spend all the time doing it. So it's I can get stuff out pretty quick. I don't like to use the word, I don't want to make it seem like it's low quality. I mean, because I put my all into it, but I can get it done pretty quick.
Well, that's awesome, and I know, like, you, obviously, and again, I'm jumping around a little bit, but Puppet Box, you said August. I mean, that's pretty, and didn't you say, that you were still kind of in the planning stages of Puppet Box to a certain degree as well?
Well, I'm in the planning phase of the character as a whole, but this particular album, which is kind of the origin story, it's essentially done.
Oh, okay.
It's like kicking off the Puppet Box thing. So, so this Puppet Box album, like that, believe me, it's painful for me to wait till August, but I know the strategic reasons why I need to do it. Besides the fact I'm still waiting on the guest verses back from a couple of guest vocalists, so.
Oh, okay. And
yeah.
I mean, when you're like actually like working with different artists, I mean, I guess, how do I word this question? I mean, do you work like when you're working as Lunatic Librarian and then you're working as Dr. Thaddeus Orr and you're working as Puppet Box, is it possible for you to like work with the same artist as you did previously under a different persona? I mean, can you actually take different artists that you've worked with before and work with them in a different manner?
I think I could. I'm sure. I mean, okay, obviously, when I'm working with an artist, the persona that I choose to work with them from to take the big impact. For example, like, when I put Scum, I knew I wanted Scum on a track after I opened for him and saw how cool of a guy he was.
Yeah.
I was like, do I want my Lunatic Librarian, do I want Dark Daddy Thor? I really chose Dark Daddy Thor because I felt that, it would go on better thematically.
Mm-hmm.
But, I would be totally open. I mean, I don't think it'd be weird or hard to have just come up here with me again under another persona. I don't think that would be a problem.
No, I think that would actually be pretty cool because that would be, branching out. And I'm sure, Scum can also see, your artistic vision, with these different personas. And, see, I mean, is there, I guess, and I have to ask this one. Again, I'm adding questions. I should not do interviews with people I'm an actual fan of because then I get curious and I'm like, I'm going to ask you a million questions forever, But, yeah, because I've had interviews where I'm not a fan of them and it gets done in like 10 minutes. Because I'll just straight out ask them, and if they're not very talkative, I mean, there's not very much I can do with that. I'm very talkative, as you know, so I, can talk to anybody, but there's some people who are just very, they're very short-worded, they get to the point, and sometimes it's a 15-minute interview, and, right now, you and I are the longest interview since, I did an interview with Satanic.
Wow.
Yeah, but again, I'm a fan of Satanic, so I kept, putting in questions that I did not approve with him, but he was cool with it. He was really good with it, but, as you have been, but, in general, when you think about, your different personas, do you want to take them all to the same level, or is there one you want to take further?
See, that's the challenge, because I'll be honest, it would be a lot easier to market myself, and if it was just one persona, it would be a lot easier to run one Facebook page instead of 3.
Oh yeah, and keep up with everything. I mean, gosh, you've got to, let's see, you got Lunatic Librarian, you got Dr. Thaddeus Orr, you got Puppet Box, then you got the Library Art page, then you've got Heretic Historians Foundation. So you've got 5 Facebook pages that you've got to maintain and keep up with and keep the interactions with the fans. So that's gotta be kind of challenging, definitely.
It really is. And I've actually thought about bringing on more characters. I'm like, dear God, I can't do it. So basically, I think as far as making one go further than the other, I really wish, what I'm really pushing right now is the Heretic Historians Foundation, because I feel like that kind of envelops all my characters.
Yeah.
I feel like if I can get the HHF brand to go far, all my characters will go along with it, riding its coattails. So.
Exactly, because I think there are a lot of people that will latch on to all 3 characters.
Right. And, so like I said, if I had to choose one, I would want Dr. Thaddeus Orr to go further than the others. But I love them all equally, and I really would hate to choose one.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine you as one now. I mean, obviously, when I met you, there was, it was just Lunatic Librarian, I believe, when I first met you. But now I can't imagine you as one. Now you're just all of them,
Right?
So, it all blends very well, and they're all so versatile, and they're all so different, so obviously there's that distinguishment, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I know they're all you, but sometimes you can forget that they're all you.
Oh, for sure.
And, I mean, be listening to one, and then, you transition to the other, and it's almost like listening to a, completely different artist, which I guess is a good thing for you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, they're all very different, and it's never an issue with me of like, I don't write a song and say, okay, which character does this song belong as?
Yeah.
I write the songs from the perspective of a certain character.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, there's not any time where you're like, okay, I'm in this mood, but wait, does it go to Lunatic Librarian? Does it go to Dr. Thaddeus? Or you specifically set out to be that character when you go into it? Awesome. That's pretty cool. So it's never a challenge to try to figure out, okay, which one, because then I imagine it would get. I imagine that you could actually come to a point of picking the wrong one if you did that, like, as far as like picking who it belonged to, and then we go back to that horrorcore persona that you were.
Right? Yeah, I don't like that.
No. Oh God.
Seriously, like, yeah.
I'm like I said, I have full anticipation of hearing this, but watch, I'll like it, and I'll be like, this is not that bad, man, and you're gonna be like, I hate it, I know.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it, I'm not gonna lie, but you may like it, so I'll send this to you later, I promise.
Awesome. And I mean, the transitions, I have to ask, again, this is a more, I guess you would say, direct question from, another question I asked previously, but the transitions you go through between, these personas, I mean, is it easy for you to be, say, could you be Lunatic Librarian on Monday, Dr. Thaddeus Orr on Tuesday, and Puppet Box on Wednesday, or does it, take a process to get you to transition?
Honestly, it's very rapid transitions, I'm not going to lie. Listen, basically, I could wake up in the morning, be feeling the way Lunatic Librarian feels, and want to write Lunatic Librarian track, and then by the evening, I won't be feeling that mood anymore. I mean, it's very rapid, and it has become a problem in the creative process for I'll set out, I'll be writing a Dr. Thaddeus Orr instrumental on my synthesizer, and then
I'm going to be Puppet Box. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, great. But now this instrumental isn't a Puppet Box instrumental, so I got to put it on hold. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
it's
wow.
weird having 3 personas and the thought I put into them.
I imagine, but, you know, like I said, it's hard to imagine you as just one now with, you know, all of these, and, you know, they're all so different that, you know, it's just, you know, it's amazing that they can be so different, and yet you're one person.
Right.
I mean, it's just, I don't see how you do it. I honestly don't, but, you know, maybe that's kind of the mystery and the magic of it.
Right?
I mean, I would imagine, I would imagine that a lot of people wonder about you. They're like, is it multiple personality disorder?
Right. I wouldn't say it's really that extent as much as it is just, you know, different, just how my mood fluctuates and the way I feel and the thoughts I think fluctuate. Characters fluctuate along with it.
So basically, the personas are reflective more of mood than anything in terms of, you know, like maybe, you know, like you said, you wake up, you're a lunatic librarian, you're feeling like that, but, you know, say something happens dark during the day and you start feeling, you know, darker, and then, you know, Dr. Thaddeus Orr, I mean, I imagine it could also be, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing it could also be, you know, influenced by outside things, by, like, things that happen during the day. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I mean, it's very open, you know, to outside influence. I mean, like, someone say something hurtful to me, it'll automatically switch to me, and I'll be like, oh, I got to write a Puppet Box track now. Or, I mean, outside events really impact me in my music. Sure.
So would you say, I mean, speaking on Puppet Box, would you say that Puppet Box is kind of like, I don't know, the way I'm kind of seeing it, but I may be totally wrong, is that Puppet Box is kind of almost like the in-between of Lunatic Librarian and Dr. Thaddeus Orr.
Okay. I think it's a good way to look at it, honestly, because I think about, you know, Dr. Thaddeus Orr being the really dark, and then, you know, in the move along the spectrum, we probably get the Puppet Box next. I mean, you know, because he's got the dark nature to him, but, you know, he's a good guy, though, you know what I'm saying? He's, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so basically Puppet Box is kind of like, he's a survivor. He's winning. He's picking himself up every time. Is that what I'm getting?
Absolutely.
Cool. And then, you know, Dr. Thaddeus Orr is like kind of brooding and kind of like, you know, a little bit angry.
So. I describe his character as being highly, like, superstitious, highly anxious, neurotic. I mean, he's very he's not really a happy chap.
Yeah. So I mean, these personas, though, I mean, obviously I think, you know, and in talking to you, you know, at length, you know, they seem like they're all, you know, heavily connected to you, like they're all very strong parts of you.
For sure.
So, you know, in that, you know, I mean, what if, and I'm just going to put this out there, I mean, what if one day, you know, you're feeling a different way as well and wanting to express a different side? Would you be open to creating another persona?
I totally would. But the problem is, there's got to come a point where I just say enough's enough, because
I can't have 5 million, yeah.
Exactly, you know, because from a business and marketing standpoint, that's
it's money and time, and you can't stretch yourself too thin, yeah.
And so I'm going to try to keep it to 3, but believe me, I would. If possible, I would create a new character a lot more, you know, but I'm trying to keep it to 3, because each 3 kind of, you know, have kind of reached some parts of the spectrum.
But they seem like the definitive parts. I mean, they're all very unique, and they're all very strong, you know, personas, and very strong, you know, they have their own, you know, their own thing to them, but they do seem to, you know, personify the spectrum quite well.
Absolutely. So, you know, I believe, you know, no matter how I wake up feeling, or no matter how outside events make me feel, I could find, you know,
One of them.
Into one of those 3 characters, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, that's yeah. So hopefully, you're not going to be 10 personas by next year.
No, I can't. That would be cool, but I just hopefully not.
So, I mean, are there any shows actually, again, going back to Dr. Thaddeus Orr and Puppet Box, are there any shows planned as those personas currently? I mean, that August 22nd show, are you perhaps going to show more than one persona, or are we just, which persona are we going to see?
We're going to see, you're not going to see Lunatic Librarian, but you will be seeing both Puppet Box and Dr. Thaddeus Orr at that show.
Okay, so they're actually going to cross over and be in the same place at the same time.
They will, and I would do Lunatic Librarian too, but kind of hard to apply and take off the face paint. That can get really messy. So, not good for rapid transformations.
Yeah, be peeling it off and the, scrubbing, come out, your face all red. Well, actually,
exactly.
Hey, I have actually got an idea for you. You could actually, if you were going to be Lunatic Librarian, you could, scrub off the face paint, come out all red-faced, and then you could be Dr. Thaddeus Orr because he's kind of angry. So...
Very true.
There you go. You just got to time it right, I guess you'd say. Oh, gosh. Well, I have talked your ear off for 2 hours, and I have appreciated and enjoyed every moment of it. I'm gonna get us wrapped up here because I could talk to you absolutely all night, and we'll have to get other interviews in the future scheduled because this has been too fun. This has not been like work at all.
This is awesome. I loved every minute. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, definitely. And is there anything else that you would like to say, to the listeners, to your fans, anything, that you would like to cover that we haven't?
I think we covered all pretty well. I would just like to say, it means the world to me every time someone even listens to a song of mine,
Mm-hmm.
If you buy it, great, but just listening to it means a lot to me. You take your time to listen to a track that I worked on. It means a lot to me, so thank you for that. And that's pretty much all.
All right, do you have any shout-outs, anything like that? Because I know, I always ask because, I'll get off with, off an interview with somebody and they'll be like, oh, I wanted to shout out, this person or this person, and I'm like, well, I can't go back,
Right. Of course, I'd just like to shout out to all my brothers in TLA, of course, Social Bloodstained Heathenists, and then my own personas.
All your personas, just shout out to yourself, yay!
Yeah, all of you guys, you're great. And of course, I've already, just shout out to Stum and then the Cutthroat production piece, so, I'm grateful to everybody, so.
Alright,
that's pretty much all.
In general, again, before I let you go, tell everybody where to find you and where to find your music, because I want, them to know if they're listening tonight and, you have, gotten to them and they want to, obviously I was playing Lunatic Librarian tracks earlier, so they've heard you, and I'm gonna actually play Disappear Forever as we're ending at the end, so you and Bloodstained with Dr. Thaddeus Orr, so they'll actually get to hear the doctor, but in general, where can they find you, as far as on social media, all that? Tell them all about that so that if you've, drawn somebody in tonight, they can go and they can find you. Obviously, I'll post all your links, and I post them, a lot on my Facebook, but, if they may not be on my Facebook list, so tell them where to find you, where to purchase your music, all that good stuff.
Well, the central hub of all my web presence would be the Library Arts official website.
Mm-hmm.
That's www.thelibraryartllc.com.
Okay.
Libraryartllc.com. When you go there, you can find links to not only all of my personas' music, but also, the EVP music and the Loose Cannon Entertainment music as well.
Awesome.
So, if you just go to the library, yes. If you go to the Library LLC's website, you can look at all my personas, look at their Facebook pages, their SoundCloud, their Bandcamp. There's the Heritage Stories Foundation Bandcamp you can put a link to where you can hear, my musical portfolio and purchase it if you'd like, or just stream it if you just want to bop your head to it. So yeah, so check out Library LLC's website. That's kind of a central hub that breaks out to everything else.
All right, so you said that is the libraryartllc.com, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right, so you guys, if you're hearing this, if you wanna, you wanna check out Lunatic Librarian, you wanna check out The Good Doctor, you wanna check out Puppet Box, who mysterious, and I am so psyched to learn more about Puppet Box. I really am, because even though I know some, I mean, it's kind of like waiting with bated breath. I want to meet Puppet Box. I want to find out more about Puppet Box, because Puppet Box, I think, is more mysterious than anyone.
He certainly is, he certainly is.
I mean, is there, I've got to ask this, is there a reason he's a little bit more mysterious? Is it because, he is an angel?
Yeah, he wears that mask, he doesn't want you to see his facial expression. He doesn't want you to know, how he feels and reacts and responds to different situations. He's a very secretive guy, and that kind of reflects me. I don't necessarily want people to know how I'm feeling, and react.
I know you've always got a smile on your face, and like you told me, you said you were feeling kind of sad at one of the previous shows that we had been at actually together, in the same place, and I had no clue. So I definitely see, where Puppet Box and yourself, have a lot of similarities, because you always, you're always smiling, you're always being friendly, and it, I can definitely see the reflection of you and Puppet Box, and then again, I see you as, yeah, I've always seen you as Lunatic Librarian, too, but then I can see Dr. Thaddeus Orr, and I think everybody can, everybody that appreciates your music and your artistry can tell, and see all three. But Puppet Box has definitely got me captivated, and I believe Puppet Box has got a lot of people captivated, and so I'm definitely very interested to see that. And I mean, will the August 22nd show, will that be Puppet Box's first show?
It will be, and I'm very excited about it.
Cool. So, and you mentioned there will be a library art segment. I mean, will all the library art participants, I mean, the people on your, umbrella of labels, I mean, will they all be there, or will it be, a good portion of them?
It will be a good portion. I mean, Bloodstained Truck will be there. We're going to try to make it. We're still working out some details there.
Yeah, I realize he's the furthest one away. If the people that are listening may not know, he's actually in San Antonio, Texas, so it's a little rough getting him to the local shows, because the rest are, I mean, y'all aren't, completely in the same city, but y'all can make it out to a hub, so to speak, and meet up. So, obviously you said Lunatic Librarian will not be present exactly in the, but the Doctor and Puppet Box will, and that will be Puppet Box's first show, and,
yes.
Wow, that's going to be pretty cool, and I'm definitely excited to see that. And also, again, I should say before I let you go, 6 days from now, next Saturday, in Birmingham, Alabama, at the High Note, Lunatic Librarian will be performing alongside, there will be Bloodstain from the Library Art umbrella, EBP's part, will be there as well. So two of you guys will be there. Choco, I believe, could not make it. I reached out to him. I'm actually the co-promoter on the show, and he unfortunately couldn't make it this time, but got some great guys also, Johnny Wild, Dark Side, Sub-Zero, and Mac Hatchett is coming from, I actually had him on my show last night. Mac Hatchett's actually going to stay with me at our house, good homie of me and Bloodstains, and he's coming all the way from New York to actually join you guys, and it will be his first show.
Nice.
So, lots of good things, and like I said, guys, if you have enjoyed, hearing Lunatic Librarian, hearing about him and all of his personas, definitely, if you're in the area, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, if you can make it out to Birmingham, Alabama in 6 days, please do make it out. We would absolutely love to have you there, and it is, I'm speaking from my experience, and I'm sure you can verify this as well. It's always a very chill environment, and it's almost like a family atmosphere. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, everybody likes each other. There's no drama, and it's real fun, and it's going to be really great. I'm really excited to see you perform again.
Yes,
so I'll be there singing all the words, because
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'll be there singing all the words badly, okay?
No, that's fine. I don't even care.
Well, you have been awesome. Thank you so much. I know I've took 2 hours of your time, but you have been so gracious in giving, that 2 hours of your time. And again,
No one else would ever give it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it because I know it's late, and I know the listeners appreciate it as well because you have been a great interview and have captivated me as well as I'm sure they're captivated. I'm sure they're, my social media is probably blowing up, but I've been focusing on you. My social media is probably blowing up with, link me to this guy and all so, but anyway, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm about to play Bloodstain featuring Dr. Thaddeus or Disappear Forever. Is there anything you'd like to say about that song before I let you go? About, the mindset or anything. I know we touched on it, but is there anything you'd like to say before we immediately play it?
Yeah, just I tell everyone, it's a very, dark way to feel. It's what we all feel sometimes, but don't get bogged down in it, these broken relationships and sad relationships can make us feel like we want to disappear forever, but, like Big Knife said, stay here with us. He said that on your album. So,
yeah, stay here with us. There's always another day, and like, like you and I talked about earlier, obviously we both, admitted that we've been suicidal in the past, and I know a lot of people in the underground scene, and in this, atmosphere have felt that way as well. I was, like I had told you, I was speaking with Mac Hatchett last night, and he admitted to, feeling that way as well. So I think that's a commonality. It's a very common thing that a lot of us, feel in this, certain, I guess you would say genre or group or whatever we are, in the underground, I guess, is a blanket term. And, in general, like I said, suicide is a very overlooked thing. A lot of people, don't realize until it's too late for people. And so, you guys, it's very, very important out there if you're listening. Be nice to each other. Just try. I know there's always going to be people that you don't like, but that doesn't mean that you have to be the one to push them over the ledge.
Right.
Exactly. So, so I appreciate your time, and I'm going to let you go. And again, you guys check him out on social media, Lunatic Librarian, Dr. Thaddeus, or Puppet Box, the Library Art LLC, Heretic Historians, I'm saying that wrong, Heretic Historians Foundation, there we go, on, did what?
I said it is kind of wordy.
It's very, yeah, right. Heretic Historians Foundation on Facebook, thelibraryartllc.com. Check Lunatic Librarian out. Get down to Birmingham if you can in 6 days. And like I said, we're gonna have a blast, man. So I definitely look forward to seeing you there. And thank you so much for your time tonight.
I'll see you on 26, Rayne.
All right, I'll see you then.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, we were speaking with Lunatic Librarian, and a great interview. What a great guy, huh? And as I spoke about, another one of his personas is Dr. Thaddeus Orr. I should also mention that you're listening to our MSG broadcast brought to you by our Underground Radio Systems, Renegade Studios, also Midnight Storm Gaming. So you are listening to ours, our MSG broadcast. So stay tuned. I've got some good music coming up for you. If you have any requests, I'll be on for a little while longer. Text me if you got any requests. Area code 423-827-9453. Again, if you have any requests, area code 423-827-9453. This right here is Bloodstain featuring the good doctor, Dr. Thaddeus Orr. This is Disappear Forever.
She was beautiful, she was wonderful, and I was bending over backwards looking oh so pitiful. And I'm not spiritual, but it's a miracle that I even survived those days with things that were habitual. Put in every effort all the way until my last breath. I was so sure that we would be together till death. I was obsessed, I never addressed the fact my love was unrequited, had me oh so upset. Put through all the pain but never once got any glory. From my wrist up to my shoulder scars, I tell the story. Not really gory, I said imploring for any sort of act of love that's more than compulsory. Torment and pain tortured my brain. My heart was put to trials normal people call insane. And for what? Another broken heart that's left to crumble. Doctor, come on in and tell them how your heart tumbled.
She's tormenting me.
Every time they kiss, it's like a razor to my wrist.
My heart's agony.
We'll never be together, I want to disappear forever. Sunset, moonrise, that has become a thing that I despise. Sitting on the hilltop all alone, everyone's chill me to the bone. All my lifetime, violence and violence to reprise. Sadness comes in just my size, and I have worn it like a tie. Like a noose, let me loose. No, she won't, so I'll float. Face down in a misty mode, draw my body into the throat. Obituary, mortuary, kinda scary or relieving. I'm so tired, I've been fired, burnt on fire, sick of bleeding. Watch her like pornography, not this one. She is special and I feel I'm like in cartography, where is the sun? I'll let the stars dictate the needle. As it pierces my skin surface, indubitably I am questioning my purpose so tragically. Am I a piece of trash to be thrown away? Sun will never rise and I will never again see the light of day.
She's tormenting me.
Every time they kiss, it's like a razor to my wrists.
My heart's agony.
We'll never be together, I want to disappear forever.
What is the answer? Cure for this cancer? I thought I had it figured out. Of love I was the master. I was mistaken, my love was taken, replaced with only emptiness. The ending left me shaken, shaken and stirred. My soul was disturbed, my heart felt like it had been kicked and stomped into the dirt. Perhaps the only way to escape this pain and strife was just to give in and take away my life. Should I take a razor blade, cut and bleed until I fade? Or maybe I should hang by the noose that I have made. Either way I'm done, I can't stand the moon and sun. My life has just begun, but I no longer see the fun. And I'm gone, into the lonely shadows will I go. Disappear forever, become one with the rain and snow. So if you hear my voice, it's just a whisper in the wind. For now that I am gone, I can't be hurt by love again.
She's tormenting me.
Every time they kiss, it's like a razor to my wrist.
My